Hello, and welcome to Lesson 6 of B.3, the Cancer Unit. I'm Nicole Bettis, an OpenSciEd facilitator and former high school biology teacher. In this video, I will give an overview of Lesson 6 and wrap up with some tips and tricks. The key to this lesson is the kinesthetic model, so I hope you have a better understanding of it after watching this video. First, let's take a look at how we got here. During Lesson 5, we figured out that sometimes the wrong letters pair up during DNA replication when chromosomes are duplicated, but p53 can correct these mutations. We noticed that there are different versions of the p53 molecule and saw that not all of them actually worked. So now we are wondering about these different p53 molecules. We want to know how we make p53 and why it's sometimes different. Now let's dive in to Lesson 6. Lesson 6 takes 2 class periods. It involves investigating gene expression through a kinesthetic model. The 40 minutes of material preparation listed here is to make copies of handouts and to print, cut out, and set up the kinesthetic model. It might take a bit longer if you decide to laminate the amino acid cards, or if you have to cut things out by hand with a pair of scissors. Finally, students will need their individual devices to complete an electronic exit ticket at the end of day 2. They can also use them to access a digital copy of the reading if you would like. There are 2 big parts of this lesson. Let's take a look at what's happening in each. In the first part of Lesson 6, students update their progress trackers if they haven't done so already, and then review the community agreements to decide what to focus on during the kinesthetic model. Then they follow the instructions on their handout and move to different locations around the room to essentially transcribe and translate a segment of DNA. When they finish, they complete the making sense questions at the end of their handout. What they figure out from this kinesthetic model is that if the segment of DNA is different, then it will code for different amino acids and make a different protein. While the kinesthetic model gives them an idea of how gene expression works, they don't fully understand it or know how it works inside of a cell. So, in the second part of Lesson 6, students read about DNA and p53, since p53 was the protein they had made in the kinesthetic model. After the reading, they work in small groups to complete the table in their kinesthetic model handout that maps the model to the real world. When they finish, the class discusses the kinesthetic model and the reading to make sense of gene expression. At the end of the class period, they complete an electronic exit ticket to check their understanding of DNA, gene expression, and proteins. From all of this, students figure out that genes are regions of chromosomes made of DNA that code for a protein. And the proteins are the molecules in our cells that do many different things. Each gene codes for a sequence of amino acids that then becomes a protein with a different shape. Overall, in Lesson 6, students figure out that DNA is organized into genes on chromosomes, and that each gene codes for a protein, even though not all of the DNA in that gene is used to make the protein. They also figure out that differences in the DNA can lead to differences in the amino acids and protein. This means that mutations in genes can lead to different structures and functions in proteins. So let's take a look at some key moments in Lesson 6. The first key moment comes in Part 4 when students carry out the kinesthetic model. During the kinesthetic model, students will move between 2 locations in the classroom. They start by going to location 1 and choosing DNA strand A, strand B, or strand C. Once they have chosen a strand, they will copy down the complement of their strand using U's instead of T's. Then they will edit this copy by crossing out some of the groups of letters and rewrite the code, leaving out the crossed out letters. After rewriting the code, they go to location 2. In location 2, they write the complement to their edited copy and then look for cards that match that complement. Once they find the correct card, they write down the amino acid and the word under the code. When they finish, their words will make a sentence that relates to the shapes of the p53 proteins seen in the Lesson 5 computer simulation. Then they answer 4 making sense questions on their handouts. I found this kinesthetic model to be pretty similar to a few of the things I had done in the past when teaching transcription and translation, but I loved how much more true to life it was with crossing out some of the letters, and how intentional it was in not only supporting students' understanding of protein synthesis, but also of the structure and function of proteins. Given that it is done kinesthetically, it can lead to a bit more excitement or chaos in the classroom. So I'll talk a bit more on how to manage it in the tips and tricks section at the end of this video. On day 2, students read about DNA and P53. Although the reading is brief, with just over 2 pages and a lot of images, it is key because it provides important information to help fill in the gaps that students have after carrying out the kinesthetic model. It also helps make connections between the kinesthetic model and what actually happens inside our cells by referencing and making comparisons to the model throughout. In addition, the reading includes both illustrations and actual images of cells, chromosomes, and proteins, as well as some bolded key terms. As students read about DNA and P53, they add additional information to the table on their kinesthetic model handout, and then they use that information to identify some of the limitations of the kinesthetic model. After the kinesthetic model and reading, students make sense of gene expression through a building understandings discussion. The purpose of the discussion is to support students in building an understanding about how DNA codes for protein and how mutations can impact the structure and function of proteins. This discussion also provides an opportunity for students to realize that mistakes don't just happen during DNA replication. They can also happen during gene expression. The errors that happened during the kinesthetic model that resulted in sentences that didn't match the answer key represent these mutations that happened during gene expression. At the end of the discussion, students add gene expression to their personal glossaries. Lesson 6 ends with an electronic exit ticket that includes a mix of multiple choice and short answer questions. Students are asked to summarize information from text and images as they answer questions about the relationship between DNA, chromosomes, genes, and proteins. They also answer questions about P53 and why there are different versions. This exit ticket is a great assessment opportunity that can easily be entered into a gradebook. By the end of Lesson 6, students have figured out a lot about what cancer is and how it happens, so we want to just pause and take a moment to put it all together. Before I sign off, I want to leave you with a few tips and tricks for Lesson 6. The trickiest part of this lesson is the kinesthetic model. It takes a bit of preparation ahead of time and a lot of energy and patience as students are carrying it out. First, the teacher guide calls out 2 locations for the activity, location 1 and location 2. Location 2 can get really crowded, so I recommend setting up multiple areas around the classroom labeled as location 2. Put only one set of amino acid cards at each location. This will save time for you making the cards, and it will be fewer cards for students to sort through. Make sure you only have one area for location 1 because cells only have one nucleus, while they have multiple ribosomes, which is what location 2 represents. Next, think about how to deliver the instructions to your students. Do you want to give all instructions at once and then let students work? Or do you want to give instructions step by step and stop throughout the model to give the next steps? Regardless, as students work through the model, they will make mistakes, and that's okay. When my students couldn't find the code they were looking for in the amino acid cards, I used it as an opportunity to point out that there must have been an error along the way. Some of my students were motivated to find and correct their errors, while others were done at that point. Before I would let them give up, I looked over their work to make sure they had the gist of it. If they were doing the process correctly and just made a simple error somewhere, then I was okay with them being done. However, if that wasn't the case, then I walked them through the steps just using one set of letters and asked them to try again following the steps we just did. This is where the energy and patience comes in. Students will be working at different speeds, having different questions for you and needs from you. This might feel a bit chaotic for a little while, but it'll start to settle down as more and more students finish and then are able to help answer questions from their classmates. In Lesson 6, there is 1 word we co-construct and 3 words we encounter. At the end of the Building Understandings discussion on day 2, students will co-construct the meaning of gene expression and add it to their personal glossaries. And during the reading on day 2, students will encounter the words RNA, ribosome, and amino acid. Each of these words is bolded and described in the reading. Fortunately, there isn't much for poster management here. Before the kinesthetic model on day 1, you will be talking about community agreements, so you will want to have your community agreements visible for students. And while it's not included here, I like to have students update their progress trackers at the end of the lesson. This is useful for the consensus model that we build in the next lesson as we put all the pieces together. You won't be creating any new posters in this lesson. While I know the kinesthetic model can be a lot to set up and go through with students, I hope you feel ready to take it on after watching this video. In the next video, I will be talking about one of my favorite consensus models because it shows just how much we've learned this far in the unit. So I hope you check it out. Good luck, have fun, and I'll see you next time.